Good morning, everyone, and welcome at another episode of Take the Towel podcast. Today I'm with my sister-in-law, Dalila. Good morning, Dalila.
Good morning, everyone.
So, Dalila, today we'll talk about Scandinavia, stuff, Scandinavia, but also about mythology, because in Scandinavia there are these the North mythology, such as Kratos, it's from Greek mythology, such as Thor, Odin, Loki, all those kind of dudes that you saw in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are not actually from there. I hope just that you know that, okay? So, first of all, where this passion, this interest, this part of the world comes from?
Well, I studied Scandinavian languages and literature in university, and I've always loved reading, and I've always loved mythology, starting from classical mythology. So when I was in middle school,
such as Greek mythology,
yes,
okay.
I loved that, and my brother too. So we would always talk about that. It was a shared passion. When I had to choose what kind of path to start for university.
Yes.
I wanted to study languages, but I wanted to study something new, so not only English that I have been studying before. And when I found out that there was this possibility of studying Norwegian, I listened to some audios in Norwegian, and I loved how that sounded. And then thinking about the literary part of the studies, I was really fascinated by that.
Okay.
And so the opportunity of knowing more about another kind of mythology and legends and that kind of things, it was really exciting for me. So
also it's that kind of mythology which totally differs from ours. As Italians, we have the closest mythology which we have, it's like the Roman mythology, which basically is the Greek mythology. They just changed the name of the gods and planets, like Zeus is
Jove.
Zeus is Jove, which is Jupiter. Yeah. Then Mars, Mars was Ares. Mercury was, I don't remember. Anyway, basically
Hermes, maybe.
Hermes is like
is Mercury.
the one of the messenger of the gods. Yeah. So basically, they the Roman. They put the fundamental, of being lazy, because we are lazy people, kind of. And so they just took the Greek gods and changed their name, basically, Italians. Okay. And so we share this kind of mythology with the Greeks, and this is totally another kind of mythology,
Yeah, but somehow they share some characteristics, because the fact that mythology and all of the kind of culture and literature started from the oral tradition. So the fact that they share some features. So, for example, I don't know if you remember that from Greek mythology, that there were epithets and names for people added to their own name. So Achilles, fast food. I don't know how it is in English, but
okay.
Yeah.
So each name has its own meaning.
So they share these kind of names and also the structures in the poems that helped remember and memorize the poems themselves, so that you could tell them to people. And there were these people traveling through the land and telling stories.
Okay.
And they help themselves remembering the stories by having some phrases that would be recurrent. And it's something that you find in every kind of
literature.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a common point that the northern all the population has with the Greek population, let's say.
Yeah.
This is about remembering stuff, for remembering poems.
Yeah, because they couldn't. It wasn't normal for them to write down stories, so they would just tell them again and again.
Ah.
So there were things that used to change because maybe you didn't remember exactly the same thing that you heard before, but there were some passages that had to be the same because the main story had to remain intact. So they would put some small phrases that would help remembering what was later, what was after that.
Okay.
And it's something that is typical of oral tradition because it's
in order to remember
yeah.
better, because they didn't know where to write.
They didn't write it down.
But so this population, the Scandinavian population, so which year are we around?
They have a very ancient history. So right now it was on the news that they found a rune, a stone with a rune from like 2,000 years ago.
Yes.
So yeah, they've been here a long time.
We said before that it was basically written "stupid who reads." That's Italian joke. But I think this joke is quite common. Like
I don't know.
It's very common in Italy. Not stupid, you know. It's we use another word which is a scemo, which basically means stupid. So scemo who reads. Now, when you start to study university. The Italian university system works as it depends which university, of course, you choose. You study 3 years plus 2, but it's up to you to choose the other plus 2. This about like any other stuff which is not like or law or medicine, economics as well. I think.
I don't know. No, I think that's true. Has 3 years.
3 plus 2. Yeah. So basically, over than law and medicine, because they have like or 5 years completely plus other years, of course, because medicine is so long, and also law has the same stuff. Otherwise, the other universities system have 3 plus 2, and the plus 2 it's up to you. It's not necessary. No. So the 3 years you did.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's in foreign languages and literatures.
Okay.
And I chose to focus on English and Norwegian.
In the first 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And for the Norwegian part, we used to study Scandinavian literature because it's all shared.
Fair
and
enough.
They have a lot of common works. So it was complicated to just study Norwegian literature. And for the English part, I studied the English language and English literature.
The easiest one, let's say,
yeah.
between the two of them.
That's just one.
Between the two of them is the easiest one.
The English are not bipolar as the Scandinavian.
What you mean? Because they can speak, they can speak, like in a chill way and then get very mad, like some people would say to German ones.
And so for my master's, I chose to focus only on Norwegian. So I studied Norwegian and the Scandinavian.
So you did a master, not the plus 2 years, not a magistrale.
No, in English it's called
a master. Okay, sorry.
Our 2 years after the bachelor's are called magistrale.
Yeah.
Because we call master
something else,
the
like
postgraduate.
Like the 1 year or 6 months study lessons.
I think in English it's postgraduate course.
Postgraduate course.
Yeah, we call it master in Italian, so it's confusing when we say master's degree.
And in fact, by now I've been saying to some friends of mine, like English speaking, that I was going to do a master, so I don't know what they thought about it. Thank you for that, for this information.
Yeah, they probably thought you were going to study for 2 years.
For 2 more years, after I told them, look, I don't want to study anymore. Now you're still studying for the events, like the Italian master.
Yeah, I started an Italian master, so a postgraduate course about event management, and because I wanted to know something about communication and the kind of world, because I've always loved the kind of marketing and advertising.
Yes.
It's fascinating to me how you get to understand what people need and try to create something for them to
how to manipulate the mind of the people. Let's say.
You could say that.
We can say like that. But you do some graphics as well.
Yeah, sometimes I try because I'm really creative. I'm a creative person, so I have to just try whatever.
Yeah, fair.
And so one of my passions is painting.
Okay.
And I try painting through different medias, so watercolor, acrylics, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And during this master, I tried also doing some graphic elements.
Some graphic stuff.
And
on Paint 3D.
I'm not bad at it. I'm not a professional, clearly.
Okay.
you see it. But yeah, it's funny.
It's funny. I've been starting to do some stuff as well for the page of the podcast, and I'm going to study it as well for my Italian master, the postgraduate degree. It's funny, you know. Yeah. It's not that I do, you know, big stuff. I made like the post, but it's funny.
I think that the interesting thing about also working with that kind of media instead of traditional ones, so when you paint with a brush, is that you can redo. If you do something wrong, you can go back. Well, I get very angry and very pissed when I'm painting and then I do a little bit wrong, and I'm gonna see that because nobody notices, but I'm gonna notice it.
You're gonna notice
that,
yes.
It's very frustrating.
I know.
While with digital arts, you get to redo. And
that's the luckiest thing. I have, I don't know if you know, but I have a portrait of mine. I do of myself.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I
that.
didn't know that you were painting as well, so I have a portrait of mine. I was doing another paint in my depression period. Here it is. So I made a portrait of mine. See, you see, this is what you were saying. Yeah, you can see this portrait. This is supposed to be me. Yeah. But I don't know, so I just did random bullshit.
Was this your first time doing something like this?
No. I did other stuff in the past, but it was long since I haven't done it, or it was long since I've done something huge and saved it, let's say. And one day I was inspired, and so I did this all in one day. I was doing random shit. But you see, like here it's yellow 01, the 01.
Your birthday?
My birthday, my astrology sign, and a heart, you know, because I didn't want to do a yellow heart, so I did a red one. But it's out of context, but it was okay. I mean,
but did you take it from a photo of you?
I made a photo. First, I made a photo out of myself.
Because the proportion and the positioning is really realistic.
So yeah.
It's not all Picasso.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's really good,
fine.
and it's coherent,
Yeah,
not having shades here, it's coherent with the rest of it because it's.
Yeah, it's all. It's not.
Not by dimensional, but it's it's
okay.
More like a cartoon than.
Yeah. So in my mind it was different, of course, but it came out like this.
Yeah, it's always like that.
It's always like that. It's always
you
like
start
that.
and you think about something and doing something, but then it
turns out a shit, basically. But it's okay.
No, it's not shit. That's good.
It's appreciated, let's
but
say.
But it is on paper.
Yeah, I don't have a canvas. I don't know. Like first try I wanted to do it was like on a paper. And then, no, it's okay.
You did really well.
It was fine.
It's nice.
So we can leave.
I didn't bring my art, so.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. Next episode, that we'll do it together.
This is not a challenge between artists.
Okay, so we lost on this.
Yeah, so it was just about mixing my university studies with the event world and also my passions, and I'm trying to do this. We were talking about the fact that I ended my studies at university last year. I got my master's, and then I started with something that's different.
Yeah.
And I get that most people are a bit surprised by that because they're like, okay, but so what are you gonna do with what you studied before now that you're doing something else?
Okay.
And so the people ask me that.
Well, I mean, there could be events about the literature.
Yeah, but also cultural events.
You could.
But also events in Scandinavia, so I could directly go there.
You could go directly in. So, in Scandinavia, it's an agglomeration of countries such as Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark.
And Iceland too.
The Faroe Islands. So to be more clear, just to show and to make this joke, which I'm going to make because I had to make, it's the Scandinavia. It's this part of the world that has a phallic form. Okay, is it visible enough? Okay, so this is a phallic form of the, you know. So Scandinavians must be very proud of that.
So Scandinavia, they're different countries, but they share a lot.
They share everything.
They have a common culture and traditions.
So basically, what's the difference among them?
Well, the linguistic one, because they say that Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish are a continuum, so that they speak different languages, but they understand each other.
Ah, okay.
Which is partly right, but partly not, because Norwegian people say that Danish speak like as if they had a potato in their mouth.
No.
Because they have
they have a potato in their mouth.
Basically. They have nobody gets.
No, don't get offended. No one has to get offended, even for the Scandinavian look like a phallic, okay? So
it's just that they have this kind of pronunciation that is very hard and strong, and so while the Norwegian one is more, to my ear, is more similar to a mix of English and German.
Okay.
But it's quite morbid. It's fluid.
Okay.
Danish is more.
More?
It's as if they were
like gabagool.
Yeah.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
They speak like this.
Yeah.
Gabagool.
Yeah, and there was this time at university when we have because of this continuum we had to attend lessons in Swedish and Danish too, because we had to understand what they were saying to us. And the Danish teacher asked me what was my name, and I didn't understand, and she had to repeat 3 times to me. Okay. And I was like, okay, I don't get it. I can't understand what you're saying to me. And it was just, what's your name? So.
How many people there are like in Denmark, for example?
I don't know about that.
There are 5 millions and 8,557.
Yeah, I think in Norway there is less people.
Less people in Norway? Okay, like...
I don't know, I'm not sure about that, but I know that the density of population in Norway...
It's lower.
Yeah, because they're all forests and woods and you know that. So
there are more trees and animals rather than people there.
I had a Norwegian friend at university, and he would say that his neighbor was like a kilometer apart from his house.
My God.
So yeah.
His neighbor was an elk. The big, the moose, the elk. I don't know. I don't remember. But as there are not that many people, are there accents, dialects?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot?
A lot of them. Actually, Norwegian has 2 forms of the Norwegian language. One is nynorsk and the other is bokmål. And the nynorsk is a form of Norwegian that was created collecting details about different dialects.
Okay.
And so it's very complicated to learn. I studied bokmål, which is the
easiest one.
Literally, it's the language of books.
Okay.
It's book is as in English. Book.
No, how you say?
Bokmål. Bokmål. And mål is language. So, that's a little bit easier. But when you go to Norway, there's dialect wherever you go. So it's every region of Norway has a different dialect, and there are also. I know you talked about the R.
The other episodes.
In the first episode, and they have a region of Norway where the dialect has this and they mispronounce the R.
Yeah.
But it's not mispronounced.
Let's say like that. Yeah.
So they pronounce the R in without rotating it correctly.
Okay.
If you want to see it from a
from the Italian point of view.
Yeah, so it's not rotated as fluidly as it is in the other version, in the other dialects.
Okay.
While in Denmark and Sweden, there are different forms, but I think they're mainly about accents.
Okay.
So they have different accents, but
It's
not
just
sure about that because I focused on Norwegian.
Okay.
And I talked with different people from Norway, so I got to listen to different accents from there. And yeah, but they also have a variety of languages in the same land. So there's the Sami population. So people from Lapland.
It's the place where Santa Claus lives. He lives there, no?
Yeah.
Laponia.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they prefer being called Sami because it's their own name.
Okay.
The name that they gave themselves. And they have their own language and they have their own culture and traditions. And they are like not the most native people of Scandinavia, but they have a culture that roots deeply into
more than they.
Yeah, into also the cults of earth and animals and the kind of things. So it's really fascinating, and they have their own language, and they are in Norway, Finland, and so they share different territories, mainly in the north.
Though they have the same roots, these Sami.
Yeah.
They are Norway and Finland, but they have the same roots, let's say.
Yeah, they see themselves as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, they are a people.
Let's say like like Native Americans, let's say something like
somehow,
that. Okay.
Somehow, yeah,
Native Finnish, Native Norways.
Yeah, there's a likeness to Native Americans.
Okay, very well.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this thing because they have a musical tradition, and which is very interesting because they create a music that's not made of words, but there's also a part of their music which is made of sounds and notes alternating themselves.
Okay.
And with the voice, so they make this kind of chants with their voice.
Yeah, maybe I've heard something like that.
And there's this band that I discovered by watching Eurovision Song Contest, and they're from Norway, and they're 3 people, and one of them is Sami, and he puts in pop songs pieces of Sami music.
Sami songs.
And sometimes he even raps in Sami.
Okay.
And I love that. I don't understand the
I
thing.
haven't watched them, but I will. After this, I will listen.
I don't understand the thing of what he's saying, but I think it's really nice because preserving the history,
the culture. Yeah. About that, like, is this Sami population like conservative? Like, they could easily tell to this guy, "Look, what are you doing with? You cannot like change our culture this way," or they're just chill with it.
No, I don't think that they're a lot about preserving their culture and tradition.
Of
so
course.
Yeah, they really care about that. But I don't think they're opposed to the idea of including it in something else.
Okay.
So it's more about not having something else
destroying their tradition, let's say.
So it's more about that and having the possibility to share what they believe in and what they produce as artists, because I think it's really artistic, this kind of musical productions.
Okay.
So it's really funny. If you check there are some videos online about interviews to Sami people, so they're not
they're not so different.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
not so lonely and isolated from everyone
They're not
else,
sigmas,
so,
as I would tell now.
Yeah, so it's nice because you get to see their traditional ways of celebrating and that kind of things. That's really
But
nice.
are like some now I will tell something how it's like there are some Eskimos or no they're just
I wouldn't really know about that because maybe some are, but you know, they come
matter.
from different backgrounds,
Uh-huh.
being in different lands, so they obviously have different physical features, and so I wouldn't know about that. It's I think it's hard to say that about everyone
Yeah.
in the world right now. So
I mean, we are both Italians,
Yeah.
and we look very different one to each other. Even the technician looks even more different. Well, this is north of Italy, south of Italy.
yeah, but I look different from my family, so you know, my brother.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
look like my brother.
Loris.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also he looks like from the north anyway. He looks more from north than I look, I mean.
Maybe.
When
But
it-
he also has dark hair, dark eye.
Ah, well,
you know,
I
so
mean, there are
the kind of features.
like lots of Germans have the
Yeah.
Germans have the like dark hair, dark
Yes,
eyes.
yes,
Also about these Germans, the Scandinavians are from a German population, weren't they?
Yeah, they're part of the in the Middle Ages. It was Germanic people everywhere.
Yeah.
So also in
Basically,
Italy.
yes.
And they are Germanic people,
Mm-hmm.
but they've always been quite. I wouldn't say isolated, but you know, they've had their strong history of sailing with boats. You know, the Viking.
Yeah, yeah.
Viking ships. So they were different from them because they had another kind of way of life, you know. So the Germanic people more nearer to us.
They are more land.
They would come here and just try to invade lands and you know.
Let's say that there were this huge German community population, which some of them decide to take the boats and to go sail and go in the Phallic country, basically, and some decided to stay here and invade Europe and take part of Italy, you know, stuff like that. And that's it. But as she said, the Longobards.
Yeah.
The Longobards were like in the northern part of Italy, but also in Sicily they were, the Longobards. Anyway, they were also in Sicily. They basically invaded the whole Italy, then also Arabs invade back. You know, it's also Italy, it's a mixture of...
Yeah, a lot of people in Italy.
Yeah. Like, I've been in Athens last week, and everywhere I was going, they would start to talk to me in Greek, you know, because because Italians, especially South Italians and Greek people, they look alike very much. And every time I was like, look, I'm sorry, I don't speak Greek. We can speak English if you wish. But sometimes I was tricking them, like speaking in Greek some stuff and then back to English. So about this is that we're all like kind of same population at the end, you know. We're all like brother and
Yeah,
sisters.
you know, also in you talked about being from southern Italy, so in the Neapolitan language takes a lot from different languages.
Yes.
Languages.
So as you were saying, in Naples they have like not their own language. Let's say that the Napolitan dialect has been like proclaimed. The language has been like it's like under the protection of the UNESCO. Not like
When you studied in linguistics, they say they perceive Neapolitan not as a dialect but as a language, because if a dialect has too many differences from the standard language, it becomes an own language.
Okay.
So many researchers define Neapolitan as a language itself, because it's so different from the Italian.
The Italian and the rest of the language, yes.
And that it just becomes something else.
But I would tell about that also to Sicilian language. I mean, I don't understand Sicilians when they speak.
Yeah, but I think it's not about understanding it. It's more about the structures that it shares.
Okay,
so
okay.
if it's, you know, phonologically, there are some changes. But if it maintains a structure that it's the same. So it's just about what you hear and
Yes.
getting used to hearing it said that way.
Yes.
But if the structure changes, the lexicon changes, a lot of features change.
Are different
So,
from the Italian
yeah.
language.
Also, Norwegian was the bookmall version I told you before was taken in some parts from Danish because there were Danish people in Norway for a long time.
Okay.
So they and it is the reason why they also the Nynorsk version of Norwegian was made because there were some people who liked keeping the Danish language, and there were others who wanted to have a national language that was just Norwegian.
Okay.
And so they created these two different variants of Norwegian because of this. But the book language comes from Danish.
Okay.
But
They wanted to be different.
But it is different.
They wanted to be
And,
different.
Yeah. They just wanted to be different.
They just want to be-
Everybody
everybody wants to be different nowadays, and also in the past. So here we wrote about the mythology. There were like similarities between the Northern mythology and the Greek mythology. A classic mythology, which is the Greek one. I think it's classic for us.
I think it's called classical mythology.
Okay, so now with the recent video games Ragnarok from God of War, have you played it?
No, but I know about it. I know God of War.
Mm-hmm.
My brother loved that, and I like the first one. I used to watch him play with the first one.
The one in Greece.
In Greece. The first one, where
Like
they introduced Kratos and all his story. You know? I love that one, and I know about the Scandinavian.
The latest one. Let's
I
say.
know about that, but I think it's some kind of trend, because in a lot of video games, films, TV series, they have started putting northern elements, from
like in
mythology
Marvel
and,
cinematic. Well, so the Thor character in
Yeah.
the Marvel comics, there always has been like
it's
Thor, Odin, and the Loki. I don't know how they were before. Though of course, both in the movies, in the series, and in the video games, there is a misinterpretation.
somehow they changed something.
Yeah, like as I've learned from God of War, like the northern gods were such very brutals, like bad people, like Loki and Odin going after blood for this giant population, killing them all. What else? Like also raping people, stuff like that.
Yeah, and if we were talking about that before, it's the same as in Greek.
Of course, of course.
Where Zeus fighting to get his place.
To get his place with the Titans.
Yeah, and fighting the Titans and the kind of things. So there are some elements
that are similar.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, this Zeus, he's like on the books. Like I've read these books, like about Greek stories because it was for my university for my exam. This Zeus, what the heck has he done? Like lots of stuff. Yeah, like Europe. There was this girl called Europe. How the name Europe come from? For mythology, classic stuff. So there was this girl which name was Europe, and one day Zeus wanted to copulate with this girl. So she was at the beach. He transformed himself into a white bull, and she fell in love with the bull. And this bull was Zeus actually, and so she went upon the bull, the white bull, which is Zeus.
Get over it.
It's like like how to she mounted, okay?
Yeah, we get that picture.
Okay. And so he basically kidnapped this girl and took her away, like far away in an island, I don't know where. So, and then he copulate her under a tree, and I don't know which tree is this. So they say it's like some part of Europe, and so they say that under this tree, any girl that lays under this tree, it's like it's pregnant basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in one night. I don't know how it works. Yeah, stuff like that, or like how com'è? The big bear, the stars, the constellation of the big bear and the small bear. Basically, there was this nympha. The nymph were like how to say
Nymph.
nymph. It's like you know,
A
like
mythical creature.
yeah, like
A kind of fairy.
yeah, assistants of the goddess and of the goddess. So there was this nympha, which is was a nymph of Athena. Athena, she was like goddess of the virginity as well, and so Zeus fell in love with her. He wanted to copulate with her. So this nympha was naked, went inside the lake. In a lake, a river. Zeus transformed himself into the river, the lake, and copulate her. And then
Yeah, but he also transforms into a swan, rain.
Helena from Troy,
Yeah.
from Troia.
Yeah,
that
so
one.
he always finds a way to
Yeah.
get to those girls. He couldn't keep it in his pants.
Yeah, like he couldn't keep the phallic
No.
form like Scandinavia into his pants.
Yeah.
But the point is, are all this stuff true? Like, I mean, so I think this stuff. It's not that. So maybe this stuff happens, but not in this way. You know what I mean?
I think you can transform into a swan.
No. What I'm saying is like all these kind of events, like could have happened, but not in the exactly way as it is written about or explained. I don't know, but I don't know if Odin or Thor did some stuff like Zeus did. They can transform themselves,
No, I think they focus mainly on
killing people.
yeah.
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 On
Yeah,
killing
anyway,
beings.
I from what I've read, it's more about. Well, I think that the northern mythology has a more complex world than the Greek one. You know, because there are just two levels, which is the man and the gods. So the gods are on the Mount Olympus, and the men are on Earth, and that's it.
Yeah,
And so,
in the northern mythology,
in northern mythology, there are different levels, and that's really complicated.
it's the tree of life.
Yeah, Yggdrasil.
The Yggdrasil, yes.
Yeah, Yggdrasil holds up every. There are nine worlds.
Yes, the
and
nine realms.
The tree keeps them floating somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's the giants world, the man's world, and that kind of things, and there's Asgard. So yeah, every people and kind of creature lives in a different dimension somehow, and that's really complicated to get to, because it's structured in a difficult way, and also the birth of that kind of world and the end of it, the Ragnarok.
Yes.
They are very complicated. So they have a lot of steps, because I think that given the fact that it's just so articulated, you know, it has to start and end in a complicated way, because it's not that simple.
Of course,
you know?
I mean, it's not that can go easy, of course.
Yeah, so I think the northern mythology is more about that kind of dynamics between worlds colliding and realities colliding. Also, there are stories about Thor going to the house of the giant and having to fight him.
Jotunheim.
So that kind of things. And there's more adventures like that. I think it's more. There are some studies that compare somehow Thor to Hercules. Hercules, because you know, the hero, he's beautiful, he's handsome, he's strong, and they're pretty similar as figures. And I think that they're similar also because of the fact that their stories are more heroic ones somehow. So it's more about what they do, where they go, and who they interact with, than as it is in Greek mythology, where there are a lot of intrigues.
A lot of heroes as well in Greek mythology.
Yeah, but when you think about the gods, there are a lot of cheating.
Yeah, like in the Northern mythology?
I think that's less.
In every mythology, let's say,
yeah,
it's about cheating.
Less cheating in Northern mythology as in the Greek.
As in the Greek, but also like, you know, like Greece, it's a very expanded country. It's very big. Yeah. Also in those years, like in that period of there wasn't like Greece was just a small part, because there were like kingdoms before. So there was the kingdom of Greece, and which now everything is Greece, but before was Greece, and then Athens, Achaeans.
There was the.
I don't remember now.
Every city was.
Yeah, it was.
Its own ruler somehow.
Yeah, like Vatican City or like San Marino Republic. But Northern mythology, like it's just this small space. So. But yeah, but this, I think, so Greek mythology, it's cool. It's very cool. Yeah. But also like Northern mythology, the technician, it's very like interested in the Northern mythology every time he has to talk about it. Which no, it's very interesting. Like I think he took this from God of War, of course, Ragnarok, of course. But and there is a misinterpretation in God of War Ragnarok.
There are many.
Interpretation.
Yeah, the interpretations about Loki, but mainly is just, I think he's the key to everything that happens. So
yeah, to the Ragnarok as
everything turns wrong because of Loki, which just creates the situation usually, and then the heroes come and Thor.
One true thing is the one that he actually kills Baldur, like because this of Baldur being like immortal, it's true.
Yeah.
Just there is this. I don't know which plant is it.
Mistletoe. I think it's the same.
It's the same.
Vischio.
Il Vischio, the one which you kiss under at Christmas. That story is true. He actually dies because of that, and then from that starts the Ragnarok, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Filbul Winter, and then the Ragnarok.
Yeah, because the Ragnarok starts when the wolf Fenrir gets free from the chains that are restraining him, and the serpent.
Jormunmario.
Yeah, Midgard Sommer.
Yeah.
He gets out of the water, and that is the serpent that is said to be so long that it could embrace the.
He could eat his own tail.
Yeah, and so when they get out, then Hel starts gathering troops.
Okay.
To start the war, which will bring to the end.
To Asgard.
Yeah, I think so.
So like in the Ragnarok game, like God of War Ragnarok, basically the what was the name? Ragnarok is the end of Asgard, not the end of the whole world.
Yeah, it's some kind of it's what we have in our culture as the apocalypse, you know.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of hope destruction that's gonna turn everything upside down.
But it's not the destruction of all the 9 realms, or only of Asgard. I don't know as well. I mean, like in the game, it's the Ragnarok is the end of Asgard. Well, there is of course the whole game, which they at the beginning they thought it was the end of all the 9 realms, but then they came at the end that it's just the end of Asgard.
I don't remember that if it is only about Asgard or if it is about the 9 different worlds, but yeah, we can check that later.
We'll check that later. Do you like the Marvel interpretation of these Asgardian gods such as Thor and Loki, for example?
I think I prefer Loki.
Okay.
For how they created the character, because I think that Thor is just
big dude with muscles, basically.
Yes. It's easy winning people that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I prefer Loki also because he maintains his his traits of being just the disruptor and creating chaos without any motive sometimes.
He basically is the Loki from the actual Northern mythology.
That part I really liked. And also the structure of Asgard. That getting to Asgard, there's the Guardians, and so they, I don't remember the name right now, but
I don't remember as well the gate.
They took the mythological Guardians of Asgard and put them there, and also there in order to get to Asgard, you have to go through this bridge.
Heimdall is the one that sees everything, and then the bridge is the Bifrost. The Bifrost. The Bifrost is like this. They say that every rainbow is the Bifrost to Asgard because it actually is a rainbow to go to Asgard.
Yeah. So you have to get through that. So and that's something that's taken from the mythology.
Yes.
So that's good. And also Odin, the fact that Odin doesn't have an eye.
Yeah, I don't remember how he loses it.
He loses it when he has to face a few challenges in order to get knowledge. Okay. So one challenge is like being hanged on Yggdrasil for many days. It's like 9 days being hanged. And the other one is sacrificing his own eye to Mimir's.
In order to have knowledge.
To get knowledge of it all.
Okay.
And the fact that Odin in Thor and the Marvel movies doesn't have an eye is a sign of that. But then they had to adapt the characters to the plot, and that's okay. But somehow people who are really connected and that really love Northern mythology are a bit offended by the fact that they take these characters and they transform them into something else. So but also, I think that's something that happens.
Yeah, I mean, but also it's not that they can stay there and make it, the whole movie talking about the real mythology stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel movie, It's about kicking asses and destroying cities in order to save them. So, what I find wrong, it's like they never put like a raven, like. Odin is known for the two ravens. He's a horse with 8 legs. But in the first movie there is they made this scene where he comes in the battle against the Jotuns, and they see him riding the horse with the 8 legs, something like that. But I didn't saw that in the Ragnarok video games. Now to get now in let's say in a more recent periods. Eurovision, your favorite one. You even vote for Eurovision? Yeah. Did you go? You had to pay for voting?
You pay the tax, as.
Like the.
Yes, you send a text. And
like 20 cents tax. Yeah. And who won this year?
Ukraine.
Ukraine won. How how popular it is the Scandinavian music, let's say more Finnish, Danish, which one it's more
popular in Eurovision?
Yeah, or even in Europe, let's say.
Well, I think maybe Sweden won. I think that Sweden won the most between the Scandinavian countries. So maybe Swedish singers are more known for the Eurovision public and Europeans. I think them, but there's so many countries participating to Eurovision because right now they're 40, and that it's hard to say that one is more popular than others. Because it's always different, and it always depends on the artist, which represents the country which year. each year. And yeah, so but you know, Eurovision in Scandinavia, I think it is stronger than in Italy.
Yeah.
Because you know we have Festival Sanremo.
Yeah, it's we have our own festival.
Yeah, we have our own music festival, which was the one that inspired Eurovision. So.
Sanremo Festival,
yeah,
just to you know to take who commands and to take some credits. Yeah. The Sanremo Festival, it's like almost 100 years, I would say. Not 100, no, but
it's 70.
70 years, see you in 30 years.
Yeah, I think
something like that. It's 70. I remember it's like around 50s and 60s, sort of. It started and it's going. It's still going. I mean, I personally do not follow it anymore because it's trash. I mean, it becomes very trashy stuff. It is nice. Like I can. How long does it last? Like one.
It's a week.
It's 1 week.
It's 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like how do singers candidate? Like how can in order to participate? How can they do?
It starts in September, October, where they send to the art director.
Mm-hmm.
They send their songs, and he chooses which singers to have in each edition.
Okay.
And then they announce the singers in December, but you won't hear their songs until the festival starts.
So they make a new song?
No. The song that they present to the art director in October cannot be heard, cannot be published before the festival starts. So you know the title and you know the artist, obviously, but you won't know what's the song like until you hear it at the festival. So I've always liked this thing because you know the anticipation and having to wait.
The secrets.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not the same for Eurovision.
Okay.
Because the songs that get presented to Eurovision usually get selected through national selections. So, for example, in Norway, there's Melodi Grand Prix, which is a kind of festival.
It's like their Sanremo festival, let's say.
But it is their selection for Eurovision. So people hear the songs and they know which song will go to compete.
Okay.
So when you get to Eurovision, you already know the songs, and I think that's nice too because it's a different way of experiencing the musical events, you know, because the kind of events for example the Festival of Sanremo, there's the anticipation.
Yes.
And you get thrilled because you want to hear the song, while in Eurovision it's more about knowing the song and getting, you know,
excited to see if it will win or not.
Yeah, and getting excited also to see how it will be staged.
Okay.
Because a part of Eurovision is also
the performance. Yeah. Like the Maneskin they did.
Yeah, exactly. That was really great. And yeah, so Eurovision has a lot of elements that are different from
the Sanremo.
But yeah, I love the idea of different cultures and music.
How can Italians participate to Eurovision in our case?
Italians are always in the finals because the founding countries of Eurovision, there are 5.
I remember this thing.
The 5 founding members always get to the final. So we are, even though for like 20 years we didn't participate to Eurovision.
No.
Yeah, we stopped in 1997.
Okay.
The last time we participated was in 1997, and we didn't attend until 2011.
But because we couldn't, or we didn't?
No, because we didn't want.
We do stuff, and then we do nothing about it.
And then we started participating again, and it was a success because we won last year. So
yeah, basically we were just, how to say, like we were just. Practicing, in order to win, a good comeback, let's be honest. So, we have finished for this episode. Thank you very much, Dalila.
Thank you.
Grazie mille. So we'll see you next time. And for this episode, leave a comment, share with your friends, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and what else? Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, of course. And let us know a comment of yours, whatever you want to say, stuff like that. And thank you very much. How to say thank you in a
Norwegian?
In a Norwegian?
Tak.
Tak! Tak! Like yes in Polish. Tak! Thank you very much. Grazie mille, tak. And see you next time. Ciao.